grabbing my tablet and I'll be right back. Yeah. Oh, and APR has already seen me. Good, good. Go. What was that? Chords. Stop. Get. That's a little better. Okay, Discord's coming up now. So, hello Internet. It is 2:13 p.m. on Monday, October 12th, 2020. I'm Mark Amsry, DJ Amstrack, and I'm holding court here on the Throne of Games. Let's see. Today I am continuing Shadowrun Dragonfall. It's been about a week since the last time I was awake at 2 p.m. to continue it. Ugh, that sounds bad. But I am here now, and now I shall continue. Where? There it is. heck is that one empty line from Nightshade? Oh, it was a channel emote. I wonder why it doesn't render there. I should figure out how to just write my own overlay, chat overlay thing. Anyway. So, yes. The U-Bahn stopped on the way home. While I was in the middle of a call. Station's main power is off. The train's not going anywhere until it's back. Fuse. Looks like some squatters are moving into the station. Tunnel's collapsed. Not getting out this way. Advanced medkit. Nice. Fuse box. Leave it alone for the moment. See. It looks like the console could extend the nearby bridge to cross the tracks, but with the power out, the entire thing is non-functional. So I can't get over there. Place the extra fuse into a socket next to track. The status light next to track remains red. Lights in the bathroom go out. The status light next to track lights up green. Leave it alone. Extend the bridge. It's so dark in this maintenance area you can barely see your hand in front of your face. Fun. This door is stuck shut. Not right. Not just yet. Wow, this is barely visible for me. I can only imagine what it looks like. Like it's probably too muddy to make anything out. Oh no. Okay, hold on, you know what? I wonder if I can, like, knowing they're there. Did I get the jump on them? Iger shoulder checks the door, and the crack of splintering plastic fills your ears. The door pops open. High explosive grenade. Nice. Doesn't appear to be anything else over here. Just use it. Or maybe... Oh, they're absolutely still there. They don't just spawn in. Can I like manually bring like turn it into a combat mode? Like, can I manually start initiative to bring this stuff up? Okay, well, I guess there's no other way around it. I guess I have to spring this trap. Return to the Quartz Bazaar. The rest of the trip home is uneventful, but one thing is clear: someone is hunting you. This ambush was no chance gang warfare, but an organized attempt on your life. If Green Winters was right, then whoever killed him is now after you. The PDA that you retrieved from your attackers may hold some answers. It's time to return to your safe house and consult Paul Amsel. Deliver those things. The machine accepts the data upload, and only a few moments later, a certified cred stick is spat out of the coin slot. The phone's old LCD readout displays the text, "Freedom, Equality, Information." Shock felon writer. The girl stares blankly into a vacant sky. She's still sporting a black eye, and there are fresh tears on her cheeks, but she doesn't seem to notice them. Kim, are you all right? She shakes her head. I don't know. Have I ever been when I'm me? She then lowers her gaze from the heavens and regards you, her eyes showing slightly more clarity than before. Been thinking. Remembering. Wondering. So what have you been thinking about? Kim hugs herself tightly around her midsection, drawing herself in and doing the impossible of making herself even thinner. I'm not sure I want to talk about it. I only ever talked about it with Monica. I'm here to listen, just like Monica was. Okay. She takes a breath to ready herself and then bites a lip as her eyes search the unseen. Monica said I would forget. She thought the Sims might help. In there, I'm strong, and I never have to lose anyone. But then I come back out here, where the children play in the street, and I remember, where I see Doc Escabel, and I remember. He was mad at me for losing her. But now I don't know if he even remembers. He looks right through me, but I did what he told me. I saw him every month. I took the medicine. I got as much food as I could. But he said it wasn't enough. That I would never be. Monica said a mother is always a mother, even when her baby dies inside her. She said she would go to heaven. I'm sorry, Kim. Anything I can do? No, I'm okay. Thank you. Do you want to talk about that black eye now? Zach said not to. He said I might get hurt again. Kim, if Zach is hurting you... No, it wasn't him. Zach loves me. He loves everybody. But the man who did this knew Zach. He said they used to work together before they came to the Kreutz Bazaar. but he said he wasn't allowed to stay because of Monica. She said he was bad for the Kreutz Bazaar, and the man didn't like that. Now he wants to come back. He wants to be the new Zack. He told me he had better stuff. Let me try it. But then... She touches a finger to her black eye. He said to tell Zack that he was coming back to take what was his. Don't worry, Kim. We won't let him come back. If you say so. I'll leave you be. Hey, Zack, what can you tell me about this guy? Welcome back, mein Freund. What can old Zack get you? I've got a formula for a combat stim. Can you produce something like that? Oh, you know I'm your man. I can hook you up right now. What's up with the bandages on your hands? Zack snorts out a short burst of laughter. He waggles his bandaged hands in front of you. Oh, these? Nothing much, chummer, nothing much. Tussled with the spirit back in Amsterdam. You know, we elves are very spiritual people. So I've heard. Zack's bug eyes light up with excitement. You heard right? Damn right, chummer. Elves, you know, my people, are creatures of the spirit. We've got the magic in our blood, whether we sling spells or not. I'm telling you, I've talked with spirits all my life, and it has nothing to do with praying to a totem or studying spell books. Flash lowers his voice to a conspiratorial whisper. Between you and me, my mojo is stronger than any corp wage mages. Take those rat scum bastards that has technology. They cast spells all day, all night, right? Fire this and lightning that, just tossing them around like candy. Right? Well, me, I'm just doing my thing, not casting spells. I'm storing up my energy, saving it. Can you imagine how much magic I have? I don't think that's how it works, Zack. Trust me, friend, I have secret knowledge. He slowly turns his head from side to side to give you a good look at his upturned ears. Like I said, it's in the blood. He's not actually an elf, is he? Those are fake ears. I don't have the skill for it, but that's the implication I'm getting. Okay, Zack, I trust you. Now, can we do some business? Well, I am a businessman, and I suppose that you're a customer. Who am I to say no? Show me what you've got. You like jazz? Yeah, nothing right now. Viel, hold a moment. I'll call Algernon for you. She pauses, squinting at you. Her mouth dips into a frown. Curious? When I look at you, I see red. Red? She nods and the frown slowly falls off her face. Her voice becomes dreamy. Red splattered like paint across great metal arms. Small rooms drenched in it with droplets oozing down from the ceiling. She offers you a cautious smile. Pretty. That's an awfully strange way to open a conversation. Was it? Then I am sorry. I didn't mean to offend. She looks away. I merely comment on what I see. Looking to buy some magic. And then you'll want to talk to Algernon. He's just around the corner. Be well, Orc.
Do you need to bring flowers to my room again? That's bad.
Hello again. How may I help you? I have a question for you, if you don't mind. Oh, I don't have any other questions. Alright then. There's none. Or actually... Okay, yeah, there's all of those. Oh, these count as weapons. Huh. Be a good idea to upgrade my acid bolt. Although actually, if I could skip straight to 3. Although even then, before I spend the money, I want to go check another thing. Choices, choices. Hey, Cammy. Cammy brightens up as you approach her, grinning widely. Hey there. Altug was just telling me you were around. I was wondering if you might be willing to trade a story or two. What are you looking for exactly? The girl taps a finger thoughtfully against her chin. Well, you're new here. I know that you knew Monica, and I've got a vague idea about what went down the night she died. But I want to know what you think your most exciting adventure has ever been. You know, I think I may have streamed this already on the day that I gave up on. Hang on, how the hell did you hear about that? Remember, I'm Altug's ears and hands outside of the cafe. We share a lot of intel, he and I. So what is the story between you two, then? She glances away briefly before returning her gaze to you. I suppose I can tell you. If the Monica thing was a secret of yours, it's only fair I share one of my own. I never really went to school, pretty much been a street kid as long as I can remember, and there was so much to learn from people outside of school that I never really bothered. It makes it difficult to get a job, so as all good street kids do, I chose a place to haunt with my friends and always hung out there. On the day of your cat's quinceañera?
On this, the day of my cat's quinceañera.
That was Altug's cafe, and he was super nice about me and mine. I felt more comfortable with him than I ever did mein Vater. Her eyes narrow only for the briefest moment at the word, and we talked a lot when I was waiting around for my friends. He must have been fairly comfortable with me too, otherwise he wouldn't have offered me a job. What is it that you do, really? Technically, I'm the barista, but like I said before, ears and hands. I run his errands, I gather gossip, and sometimes I even make coffee. I much prefer his hookah options, though. Real coffee makes me feel paranoid. Speaking of which, I should probably get back to work. See you around. Okay, that guy is still there. Which means... well, it means any number of things, but I do have to go record my life, so I will be right back.
Alright.
Okay, actually, I'm going to give it a proper save. Okay, so here's this again. Who do you work for? How did you know where to find me? And what does this audition pay? I can offer you 1,500 million, but only if you can complete the full audition, the run and post-run interview to our satisfaction. If you fail to perform up to our expectations, you will receive no pay and no further offers of work. That isn't much. It's an audition. There you go. I'm only really interested because I can get some good gear. Keep talking. Oh, a second, I already have a team. How do you know their names? go do the thing, and then I'll botch it. I don't think you're someone that I like. As such, I am happy to take advantage of you. Got that drone fixed yet? I do. Just finished before you arrived. There's a complication, though. What is it? This drone's got a custom AIOS stack on it. Someone wrote code that sits on the bootloader and configures the drone to only accept commands from a specific user. The thing works like a computer virus, so there's no way I can rip it out unless I got another brain from this model of drone. Before you ask, yes, I looked into that. The problem is this is a stolen corp drone, a discontinued model of a stolen corp drone. There are no parts for this thing on the market around here. So unless you know who locked this thing up so tightly, you're not going to get more use out of it than a doorstop. Dreck. Well, I'll ask around for its owner. Thanks. Okay, so spend karma. Charisma for a new etiquette. Get security. We'll talk to Paul Amsel before leaving the Coins Bazaar. Oh, hey Chief. How's it going? Found this drone in that hotel vault. Does it belong to you? Yeah, Chief, that's mine. I didn't want to say anything at the time since it was my idea to have you loot the vault in the first place. What was it doing in there? It's my personal drone. Good to have something to hide behind when you're on a solo decking run, you know? Lester took it from me when she seized control of the Schwarzenherzen. I'd been hoping to get it back ever since. I've got to say, Chief, it hurt me to see her all banged up to hell like she was. It looked like Lester had a few of her goons take turns on my baby with a baseball bat. But it looks like you've got her up and running again. How'd you manage that? Malit fixed your drone. She says that it won't listen to anyone but you, though. Score! So, can I have it back? Sure, it's no use to me anyway. Cool. So my decker is also a rigger now. Dietrich raises a bottle at your approach. Hey again, boss. You need something? I was thinking about what you told me earlier. You said that your idol was going to make you pick a fight that you couldn't win. He shrugs. It's bound to happen eventually. Probably sooner rather than later. Isn't there something you can do to stop that from happening? Well, I suppose that I could refuse, but that probably wouldn't be a good idea, especially not now. Remember, boss, the Dragon Slayer is where my magic comes from. If I turn away from him, you'd better believe that he'll turn away from me. Besides which, I don't even know if I can refuse him anymore. He's been with me for so long, I don't know where he stops and I begin. He grins at you. Don't worry about me, boss. I've known that this was coming for my entire life. And when it happens, I'll go down in a blaze of glory the likes of which you can't even imagine. That's a promise. Any updates on Alexander? Nothing new, boss. He's adjusting. It's gonna take some time. I really believe that your idol wants you to commit suicide. Of course not. The Dragon Slayer doesn't want me to die, but he does want me to kill dragons. That ain't supposed to be safe or easy. It isn't my idol's fault that I'm getting too old to keep up with his wishes. What if you were to pick a fight with a different kind of dragon? Say, maybe a gang or a corporation? He pauses for a moment. That's an interesting idea. If it were big enough and heinous enough, he might be satisfied. I've never tried to bargain or negotiate with the Dragon Slayer before. I'm not sure how I feel about it, and I don't know how he'd take it either. The Dragon Slayer doesn't like to be questioned, and his temper's even shorter than mine. But I'll tell you what, boss. I'll think about it. Any thoughts about that last run you'd like to share? There was nothing about that run that didn't disgust me. What they did to that troll. Wasn't right, boss. On any level. I don't care what anyone else tells you. You listen to me, VL. What you did, killing that thing, it was the right call. Yeah, it cost us some new yen, but letting that thing live would have been a travesty. Nothing right now, Dietrich. Do you trust me, Iger? She pauses for a moment, considering. Finally, she nods. Yeah, I do. You've earned that much. I haven't always agreed with your decisions, VL, but you've proven your competence. It's only fair for me to acknowledge it. Then tell me what happens to your team. This again? Why do you even care, VL? Because it's pretty clear that if you had your way, you'd still be with them, and a good leader places a priority on knowing his team. She slowly nods. Alright, I'll tell you. I suppose that you deserve to know. What happened to us was Hoffman. He was a rookie. The kid of some big-money corporate exec. He looked good on paper, and he made it through KSK training, so he was technically qualified to join a team, but he was way too green to fit in with ours. Still, he wanted to be a hero, and his family had enough clout to get him an assignment of his choosing. I don't know how many strings Hoffman's daddy had to pull to get him assigned to our team, but he pulled them. Hoffman became our 9th squad mate, despite Metzger's objections. Anyway, flash forward a few weeks, we were closing in on one of the Russian mob's major trafficking operations. They'd been using a series of warehouses 50 miles from the border as a staging area for their convoys. Women and girls from Eastern Europe were being housed there. When the convoys came, they'd be crammed into cargo containers and hauled across the border into Germany. Go to any brothel along the border and have a look around. Chances are, you'll find at least a few girls who spent some time in those warehouses. Slovakians, Hungarians, Poles, you name it. The mob has been smuggling them over for decades. But we were in a position to derail their operation, and we weren't going to let our new addition slow us down. We hit them by surprise, and we hit them hard. Fisher and Brown managed to take down the Banshee that they had patrolling the site. Wolf had reconnaissance drones overhead providing battle tack feed to the rest of us, and we picked off their gunmen one by one. They had numbers on us, but they didn't know where to hit us. We had eyes in the sky, and we had cover and concealment. Every time they thought they had a fix on us, we'd shift positions and hit them again. Yeah, they might as well have been fighting ghosts. Then Hoffman broke cover and gave away our position. After that, all hell broke loose. Wolf went down first. The sound of it will haunt me for the rest of my days. An explosion, a choked scream, and then this long, drawn-out, gurgling sound. When he died, his drones went down with him, and there were too many hostiles to track without them. I'll spare you the gory details, VL. Suffice it to say that my team was wiped out. Iger's face clouds again. You can see the tears beginning to well in her eyes. I watched Metzger die. With a visible effort, she clamps down on her emotions and calms herself. When she speaks again, her voice is flat. I took 3 rounds myself. Had to drag myself back across the Oder-Neisse line into Germany. I almost died. So that's the story. My KSK career died with the rest of the team. The mission was illegal after all, off the books. There was no going back for me, so I wound up here. She looks you in the eye, her tone is impassive. Did that tell you everything you wanted to know, fearless leader? Are you satisfied now? Yes, thank you, Iger. So, tell me, what's your takeaway from my tale of woe? I figure that you've got to have one. When Monica died, you blamed me because I was new to the team. But I'm not Hoffman, Iger. Yeah, I know that. And you're right, to a point. I might have judged you too harshly because of Hoffman. But everything else that I said was justified. Giving you command of this team was a hasty decision made for the wrong reasons. I stand by that assessment. But between then and now, I've been watching you like a hawk. And you've grown, VL. You weren't the right choice to lead before. I still believe that. But you are now. Thanks, Iger. Good talk. She nods. Until next time. Glory's pallid face lights up at your approach. A genuine smile spreads across her lips. VL, good to see you. You too, Glory. How are things with you? She pauses for a moment, considering. You know what? I'm happy, actually. For the first time in a long time. I have you to thank for that. Are you ready to tell me about that chrome you're sporting? Be patient, VL. The explanation for that is coming. A look of unease flits across her face. I'm not sure that you're going to like it, though. Any thoughts about that last run? A tinge of red crawls up Glory's neck. VL, look at me. She extends her sculpted metal arms. Chrome glints in the flickering light. I'm not far from being what that poor troll was. When I think of what they did to him... She looks you in the eye. Her expression remains neutral, but that slight blush is spread from her neck to her cheeks. It wasn't right, and you did the only thing that you could to make it better. You knew that it would cost you, and you did it anyway because it was right. I won't forget that, VL. Not ever. Are you ready to talk about Feuerstella yet? Yeah. Glory looks troubled, more so than you've ever seen her before. Whatever memories she's dredging up must be exceedingly painful. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been looking forward to this, but yeah, it's time. Viel, look, I'm about to tell you some things about myself that might change your opinion of me. It's entirely possible that you're going to hate me based on what's coming up next. I've accepted that, and if that's what happens, I sincerely believe that I deserve it. She looks you in the eye, her expression grim. So tell me, are you sure that you want to keep pushing forward with this? This is important for you, Glory. After everything we've been through, I think we both know that. Whatever you have to tell me, I'm ready to listen. Thanks, Viel. Thanks for being a friend. So, when we left off last time, I had just moved from the streets of Tübingen to the warm, inviting confines of Feuerstelle. Marta and I were happy there for a little while, and Harrow embraced me as a long-lost daughter. I should probably take a moment to talk more about Harrow. He's going to be an important figure in this story. I don't know what his age was. He seemed old enough to be paternal, but young enough to hang with the kids on something like a peer level. Best guess, I'd say he was in his mid-20s. He was handsome and well-built, with a neatly trimmed beard and thick brown hair. And there was something else about him, something uncanny. Harrow had this charisma, this raw, magnetic attraction that just made people latch onto him. I saw it over and over. All it took was a few words and a pat on the shoulder, and Harrow would have a new convert. The other kids at the farm followed him around like lost puppies. As much as I loved Marta, as much as I thought she loved me, we forgot all about one another when Harrow was around. All that we wanted was to be close to him, to be part of his inner circle, and soon enough, we were. For a girl of 17, it was all terribly exciting. Harrow had these rules of living that he would teach us, rules about self-determination and the importance of disobedience. He claimed to have taught classes at the University of Berlin, which he painted as a mix between an earthly paradise and an anarchist playground. He told us how Feuerstelle would be the focal point of a new movement for the children of the fatherland. He told us that we were special. We ate it up, of course. We were kids. For those of us in the inner sanctum, Harrow would share even more. He had power the likes of which I had never seen. Not my father's drunken fists or my own childish experiments, but genuine, incredible power. He said that it came from the Horned God, an ancient deity that he venerated. He knew about my latent abilities right away, and he offered to teach me. Naturally, I accepted. Harrow is beginning to sound a lot like a cult leader. You're not wrong there, but it gets a whole lot worse than that, as you'll soon see. Hang with me, Viel. Rough waters ahead. So I became Harrow's apprentice. He taught me to channel magic and summon spirits. He taught me rituals and pagan traditions, Machiavellian philosophy and Nietzschean ethics. Above all, he taught me to connect with his Horned God, and through it, I learned power and arrogance. And it was all downhill from there. For the next few years, I lived at Feuerstelle as Harrow's enforcer and right-hand girl. I was also his sometimes wife and concubine, but that was a distinction that I shared with all of the girls in the commune, including my beloved Marta. I came to learn that she'd been his long before she met me, but by that point, I didn't care. I'd embraced the rules of living. I was Harrow's creature through and through. I didn't ask questions, and I walked the path that was in front of me. Other fun facts about those years. I learned cruelty. I had power for now, and my new idol encouraged me to use it. Harrow did the same. Any children who didn't pull their weight were subjected to my tender mercies, and I was anything but tender. I took what I wanted rather than asking for it. I liked it. It was fun. I also came to learn that Harrow's Horned God was not the Eichenfurst worshipped by throwback cults across Germany. He was certainly a god with horns, but it came from an altogether different tradition. Care to hazard a guess? Educate me. Satan, Lucifer, Old Scratch. In the magically active community, we refer to it as the adversary. Whatever you choose to call it, it's every bit as bad as it sounds. So my idol, the ancient deity that was feeding me my power, was the antithesis of everything that is right and good. And you know what? I didn't care. In our time together, Harrow and I committed more atrocities than I could count. At this point, I was onto all of his tricks. I knew that Feuerstella was nothing more than a honey trap, carefully designed to lure local children into my master's clutches. I knew that the kids who seemed resistant to Harrow's brainwashing techniques wound up fertilizing the garden. I knew that Harrow's entire manifesto was bullshit. And I knew that through it all, Harrow and the adversary were laughing, because I was laughing right there beside them. I don't want to pin the blame for my decisions on anyone but me. That said, I would like to posit that my father's connection to the Kreuzritters might have helped me on my way, helped play into my willingness to serve the adversary. In my warped, indoctrinated little brain, I equated the church with evil, so the opposite of that, I figured, had to be, well, if not good, then at least not totally bad. But I was kidding myself, of course. My new deity was the very definition of bad. Serving it made me bad. End of story. I disagree with you, Glory. I don't think that any of this was your fault. Harrow is the one who deserves the blame. Was indoctrinated into the service of the adversary when he was my age. Would he not be at fault anymore either? She shakes her head. No, VL. Harrow certainly deserves some of the blame for what I became. Maybe even most of it. But personal responsibility has to come into the equation somewhere. I made my own choices, and they were horrible ones. I've accepted that. You should too. Glory pauses for a moment to collect herself. She looks haggard, and her pale cheeks are flushed blood red. She swallows hard, then presses forward. Anyway, one day Harrow invited me on a field trip to Stuttgart. Over the years that I was at Feuerstella, the commune had easily doubled in size. It was thriving, all thanks to the efforts of Marta and the girls like her. Harrow would send the girls out to neighboring cities to lure in the street kids that nobody would miss. He targeted children because they were easy to indoctrinate, and because nothing makes the adversary happier than the corruption of the innocent. As we drove out to pick up the new recruits, I was already planning ahead. It was a foregone conclusion that I would pay my father a visit. The irony of a group of Kreuzritters getting immolated by a genuine servant of the actual devil tickled me to no end. So when the Harrow stopped to fill up on diesel, I hopped out of the van and headed out on foot to my parents' place. Harrow wasn't overly concerned about my absence. I had long since reached the point where I could assert my autonomy, and he knew that I'd be back. I wound up at my folks' house sometime around noon. I could hear the adversary whispering in my ear, telling me what to do. I'd long since learned to listen to its voice. It always rewarded me with extra power when I did its bidding. It told me to knock, so I did. As the door opened, I could feel a torrent of flames welling up in the astral plane all around me. It told me to channel them into the doorway, into my father, so I did. But of course, the person who opened the door wasn't my father. It was my mother. As I watched her flesh blacken and melt, as I heard her scream, and I broke into hysterics, I heard the adversary laugh, and in that moment, I realized that it was laughing at me. I'm so sorry, Glory. Glory nods, a grim expression on her delicate face. Thanks. We're almost to the end now. Thanks for sticking with me. It was like a lever had been pulled, all at wasn't a powerful servant of the adversary. I was not Harrow's #1 girl. I was a ridiculous little fool who willingly tied her soul to the worst thing in existence. Realizing all of this was one thing. Actually fixing it was something else entirely. I knew that I had to get away from Harrow. That was the first thing to do, so I bit my lip and did my best to ignore the happy babble of the new recruits on the trip back to Feuerstella, and I managed to get through the ride without screaming. Once we were back at the commune, I broke into Harrow's safe, stole all the commune's resources, and ran. I don't know when Harrow realized what I'd done, or whether he even cared. All that I know is that nobody came after me, so I kept running and running until I got to Berlin. Getting past the wall was fairly simple. You know how easy it is to obtain falsified papers. The biggest obstacle that I faced during my flight was the adversary itself. I could run from Harrow, but how do you run from something that's tied to your own soul? A feeling that I know. The haunted look in Glory's eyes is heartbreaking. She gives you another curt, grim nod. I walked into the office of the first street doc I could find, pointed to all the biggest, bulkiest pieces of cyberware that he had on display, and told him to put them into me. He tried to upsell me on better merchandise, arguing that what I was asking for was old and inefficient, better suited to be installed in a museum than in a body. He told me that I'd be shedding my essence, and that once it was gone, I'd never be able to get it back. I stuck to my guns. After all, shredding my essence was the whole point. Glory looks up at you. Her eyes are sunken and hollow, and the aura of loss about her is palpable. She looks like a woman who has been through hell. That's all for now, VL. You've heard the tale. You know why I am the way I am. You know the things I've done and how much I have to atone for. If you still want my company, fine. If I've lost your friendship, I understand that too. But for now, I need to be alone. DVD. The screen flickers to life, and Malit's face appears. From the shifting background and ambient noise, it's clear that this message was recorded on a portable device. I need more to drink. My mouth is getting a bit dry. Hoi, VL. Just wanted to tell you that I've met with limited success in working on that stack of DVDs. It's a thorny problem, but at least I'm making some headway. If you look on the table beside your DVD player, you will find another recovered disc. I wasn't able to salvage all of the files on it, but I think you might find what I did recover to be of interest. For my part, I'm going to continue working on the other DVDs. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't hold out much hope, though. They're all badly damaged and suffering from disc rot besides. I'll be in touch. My best to you and your team. The message ends and the image fades. You find yourself back at your inbox. Recovery. Silka to VL. Hi, VL. This is Silka from the hotel. I hope it's okay that I'm writing you. Samuel gave me your email address. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you for everything that you did for me. Kicking my cram habit was the hardest thing that I've ever done, and I don't think I would have tried if you hadn't talked me into it. To celebrate my newfound sobriety, I've decided to sign on as a volunteer at the charity. Who knows? Maybe giving back to the community will help turn things around in my life. Anyway, thanks again, VL. I owe you one. Yours, Silka. Shadowlands BBS. Universal pay data. And a safe house data. 460 million. Minus 46 escrow fee. Oh, I thought I had some pay data. Oh, search for keywords. Topics matching local keywords. Massacre at Shotten-Nest Schoolhouse. Really attention-grabbing headline, right? That's how the local news has been spinning it. Truth is, the schoolhouse was abandoned years ago and was being used as a humanist recruitment and training complex. You're kidding me. A friend of mine was going there after class, and he said it was just a community center. I know none of you are fans of humanists, but that entire chapter house got wiped clean. There were probably some kids in there off the street who were just looking for a hot meal. Screw humanists for exploiting them, but they didn't deserve death. Good riddance to those assholes. Streets are a little safer now that they're all buried. Went trolling on the humanist board, and that place was totally wiped out. Volker Stahl was in charge of that chapter house. Good riddance to that piece of track. Just got offered a job to geek one of Humanis' lieutenants. Seems like Stahl is dead, and the power struggle is already underway. You taking the job? Not my kind of work, but I gave the Johnson an address to one of your Tricks Dead drops. Cheers, mate. Just finished up drinks with a chummer who was doing some biz up there. The real story is Humanis did not want to pay for services rendered, and some hired muscle went crazy and took them all out. So the muscle decided taking the whole place down would get the Nuyen back? Well, that's one way to make a living, I guess. Even if your friends did get screwed out of a bit of Nuyen, I don't think Humanis would even be worth the bullets, especially that many of them. Formula 17. So, we've all seen this one floating about the tricks. This is some serious stuff. It's got heavy-duty corp written all over it. Not a lot of players could be behind something like this. Ares or SK, or maybe one of the big pharma corps, say Sharing or AGC. Of course, you can never totally discount the Azzies either. Tolstoy, my esteemed colleague, this is indeed a recipe for some top-shelf drac. Whispers from the shadows say that this is sourced straight from the F-State. Hello, boys. I'm a big fan. You know, long-time reader, first-time poster. Quite an interesting concoction you have here. I'm just itching to cook some up. So many interesting properties to play with. I've already got a few tweaks in mind for my own special version 2.0. You sure that you want to do that? This stuff doesn't play nice, and corps are really bad at sharing their toys. You can, of course, always share their secrets for them. Just gotta make sure that you run a little faster than them. Always running, ACW. Like clockwork. Bandit, I'm touched by your concern, but don't you worry about little old me. I do declare this shall be ever such fun. Save the F-State. The time to rise up against the corporations is now. Fight for a free Berlin. You just fall out of a time warp? The war is over and we won. Hard to imagine Berlin any freer. Maybe you just need to switch to decaf. As long as any corporation is active anywhere in the F-State, we are all at risk. We must act. Corps are good for business and keep in their little corners. Why do you think we would help you? How naive to think they will stay there forever. Don't you see that they are taking the freedom we all hold so dear? Plans are being made across the F-State. With the shadow community on our side, we shall prevail. The upstate has its own way of dealing with those who step out of line. Take your politics somewhere else. Around here, we've got bills to pay. Running on SK. Scheisse, what a thrill. I had to do a simple data steal on a SK branch office. Turned into an OK Corral shootout. Never seen first response team arrive that fast in my life. Had a decker off-site running damage control. Managed to distract the second team to a different building while we jacked the car the first team came in. Lesson learned, simple when it comes to SK means something else. You stole the corpse response vehicle? Don't they have trackers in those things? Of course they do. Dumped it off the side of the road with a primed grenade in the back seat just to be safe. Nice one. Bragging about a nearly failed run on SK? Is it worth them paying a decker to backtrace your Shadowland account? Any idea what valuable data they were hiding in that branch office? No idea. Money was too good to take any chances with it. Safely delivered it, and the transfer cleared. Emsel calls over his shoulder at the sound of your approach. His eyes are glued to his computer display. Viel, Frau Muller should be on her way, but before you go to the meeting site, I have news. He glances at you, and his words trail off. Upon seeing the expression on your face, Emsel's voice becomes grave. It can wait. Tell me what has happened. I had some trouble on the U-Bahn. Somebody set up an ambush. Amsel pauses, then gives a curt nod. Truth be told, I'm expecting that something like this might happen. I'm just glad that you made it out alive. And over the encrypted PDA, one of the attackers dropped this. Amsel takes the PDA from you and examines it. Yes, I should be able to extract some information from this. Give me a moment. He plugs the PDA into his computer and goes to work. A few moments later, he lets out a grunt of dismay. Well, Viel, I was able to recover a file, but unfortunately that's all I'll be able to pull off of this thing. All that anyone will, truth be told. It must have been running some kind of counter-intrusion software. The instant that I gained access, it bricked itself. Amsel disconnects the useless PDA and drops it to the ground. It clatters to a rest on the metal floor. What did you manage to pull off of it? A comm file. The audio is all here, but it looks like we've only got video for one side of the conversation. Let's see what we have. He opens the file and a nightmarishly familiar face appears on the screen. Bachmeyer. The voice bleats out from Amsel's speakers filling the room. Audrin here. What's your status? Bachmeyer's image is garbled, but his voice sounds young and eager. Target acquired, sir. You were right. We spotted him on the U-Bahn, just like you said. Probably on his way to a job. As per your instructions, we're gonna try to take him out on his way back. He'll be more vulnerable that way. Hopefully injured and low on ammo, too, but only time will tell. Good man. Proceed as instructed. Will do. Kosman is rigging up an ambush spot now. We'll try to make it quick. The orc with the nightmare face nods. Send me a comm when the job is done. Audrin out. The image on the computer screen dies. Amsel turns to face you. Well, our scarred friend makes an appearance. Viel, I suspect that Green Winter's predictions are coming true. I believe that Feuerschwinge is behind this. Under Amsel's patient exterior, you can feel the worry that's eating at him. Be on your guard. You and the rest of your team. You made it through this attack relatively unscathed, but next time you might not be so lucky. At least now we have a name to put to the face. Audrin. Well, that's not all we have. As I was saying when you first walked in, I have been productive as well. I was able to uncover some new evidence in your absence, and coincidentally enough, that evidence pertains to our scarred friend. You might recall that I said I'd dig into Audrin's skin grafts. Well, I did, and that search has finally borne fruit. One of my contacts outside of Berlin handles the paperwork for private hospitals all across Germany. It's a dull, boring job, but it does have its perks. Emsel pulls open a file on his computer. A medical chart opens up on the screen. As it turns out, our scarred friend's skin grafts were performed at a legitimate hospital after all. Some good news for once. What do they say? Well, they're rather light on identifying information. Our friend's name is listed as Max Musterman, the local equivalent of John Doe, but they do cover his injuries in great detail. Audrin's injuries were extensive. He had 2 broken ribs and a shattered pelvis, and he had sustained third-degree burns over 60% of his body. Most damningly of all, he was suffering from acute radiation poisoning. His body had absorbed over 5,000 millisieverts of ionizing radiation, a lethal dose without treatment. So, 5 sieverts.
5 secrets is lethal with or without treatment.
Well, this is the future. They might have...
Check that out.
Likely.
The writers weren't quite
The information dries up at this point. We know that he was treated and discharged, but what happened afterwards remains a mystery. He pauses for a moment, studying your reaction. Your thoughts? Hold nothing back. I'd like to hear everything that comes to mind. The hospital couldn't ID Audrin. Either somebody covered his tracks for him, or he was living completely off the grid. Indeed, if Audrin were a denizen of the SOX, a glowpunk, his lack of identifying information would make sense. Emsel adjusts his glasses. It's a working theory, at any rate. So, one way or another, Audrin is off the books, either due to living off the grid, or a cover-up after the fact. Do you have another takeaway to share? That radiation poisoning certainly didn't happen on its own. Agreed. 5,000 millisieverts is a lot of exposure. Short of basking in the glow of an unshielded reactor, I don't know how he'd have absorbed that much ionizing radiation without spending time in the SOX. Alright, so Audrin was heavily irradiated, most likely from time spent in the SOX. What else does this tell me? Well, those burns sound like Dragonfire, but if the Firewing burned Audrin, why would he be working for her now? I don't think that Audrin is working for the Firewing. I believe that he is serving her. On Greenwinter's second DVD, he mentions that there is a cult within the SOX that worships the Firewing, the Disciples of the Cleaning Fire. I believe that Audrin belongs to this cult. What difference would that make? In my experience, a zealot is unlikely to shed his allegiance to his goddess, even if that loyalty comes at great personal cost. So to sum up, Audrin has probably spent time in the SOX. It's possible that he even lived there as a member of Feuerschwinger's dragon cult, and he is after you. Emsel pauses for a moment before continuing. In my mind, all of this reinforces one fact. We need to find Vauclair, and we need to do it fast. Agreed. Good. And that's all the more reason to gather Alice's fee as quickly as possible. There's a buzzing sound from Paul's wrists. He lifts his hand to look at his PDA, and as luck would have it, Frau Muller has arrived. Best of luck at the meeting, VL. Remember, this is urgent. We need that money. I'm on it. At least it rose in Germany. I think the implication was that it tore a path of devastation across Europe. Or at least a big chunk of it. But, yeah. As you press your way forward through the cozy, smoke-filled confines of Café Chesva, you catch sight of Frau Muller. She appears as Amsel described her, an impressive-looking woman of Asatlaner descent, with coffee-colored skin and dark, wavy hair. Everything about her screams corporate executive, from her expensive-looking suit to her tastefully understated makeup. She's obviously nervous, but she's hiding it well. She locks eyes with you and hesitates only slightly before speaking. Viel, I presume. Herr Amsel told me that I could meet you here. He wasn't lying. He said that you had a job for me. She holds her silence for a moment, then nods. Yes, I do. In truth, I'm in desperate need of your help. Then tell me what you need, Frau Muller. She offers you a small smile. An assumed name, obviously, but I've been told that this is how you people do business. She straightens in her seat and tries on a smile. It hangs there for a second, then fades away. She sighs. From my accent, you've no doubt inferred that I'm an Azatlaner. Further, you may have guessed who I work for. I'm afraid that I haven't. Care to fill me in? As Technology, the only Azatlan-based corporation operating in Germany. I've been with the company for over a decade. Over the course of my employment, I've worked on a great many projects. From the innocuous to the obscene, my hands have touched it all. And never once did I question the wisdom of our research. Never once did I consider blowing the whistle on my employers. I kept my nose down, worked hard, and excelled at the tasks set before me. Go on, please. Last month, I was transferred here from my home in Tenochtitlan. They told me that an employee of my caliber was needed in Berlin, and that I would be working on a project with wide-reaching applications. The only other detail I was given was the name of the project. Bloodline. Catchy. She looks you in the eye, and for the first time you can see the cracks in her composure. She's doing a good job of hiding it, but deep down this woman is terrified. I've seen many terrible things in my life, Viel. In Tenochtitlan, blood magic is commonplace. Take a moment to imagine what that means. In the underground markets, people are bought and sold as chattel. Street children are rounded up and bled like lambs. I witnessed all of these things by the age of 12. She takes a deep breath and lets it out slowly. Seeing such things, it changes you. It makes you numb. But what I found when I arrived here was worse. This project, it horrifies me, Viel, and it must be stopped. Tell me everything you know about Bloodline. She shakes her head. The less that you know, the better, for both of us. You'll just have to trust me on that. You need only know that it is evil, and that is not a word that I use lightly. If you won't tell me what this bloodline is, how do you expect me to stop it? Simple. She leans in and looks you in the eye. I want you to bring the building down. The computers, the research data, the mages and scientists that are working to bring about this abomination, I want all of them burned to ash and buried in rubble. No compromises and no exceptions. Her tone softens. I'm sure that you have unanswered questions. I'm not in the habit of dealing with Shadowrunners. In truth, I've spent the majority of my career living in fear of you people. But I do know that you're the only ones who can get this done. So tell me, Viel, is there anything more that you need to hear from me? Or are you ready to make a decision? Paul Amsel is my representative in these matters. Why couldn't you tell all of this to him? I had to meet you in person, to look into your eyes and see the man behind the name. Now that I have done so, I am sure you are the one that I need. Naturally, I will send any further information about the job to Herr Amsel, provided, of course, that you accept. What about any innocent people in the building? None of us are innocent, VL. But if you need to salve your conscience, rest assured that at the hour of your approach, the only personnel authorized to be on site will be security and senior members of the research team, and I assure you, neither are innocent in this matter. If the Bloodline project reaches completion, nobody will be safe ever again. This sounds like hyperbole, I know, but it isn't. The Bloodline project will lead to countless deaths. I am certain enough of this to hire you, despite the fact that doing so will probably cost me my own life. I'm not a demolitions expert, Frau Muller. How do you expect me to level a building? You don't need to be. All that you'll need is a competent decker. The facility is powered by a number of on-site generators. There are safeguards in place to prevent them from overloading. In the event of a power spike, the system is designed to shut itself down. But I know how you can disable those safeguards. Once the generators begin to overload, you'll have a limited time to reach a safe distance. The explosion will be quite catastrophic. What can you tell me about building security? I expect it to be tight. In addition to their standard security team, As Technology has taken out a Knight-Errant high-threat response team contract to protect the building. Corporate doesn't seem to mind contracting a competitor for emergency response services. That should give you some indication as to the uniqueness of this project. At any rate, I believe that I have come up with a solution to the Knight-Errant problem. I'll discuss the matter with your Herr Amsel if you decide to take the job. Let's talk compensation. 36,000 new yen, as I told your Herr Amsel. That's what I have allocated for the job. That's fair. It's better than fair. I've done my homework, VL. I've reached a decision. Yes? And? I'll take the job. Her face visibly brightens. In that case, it's a deal. I can't tell you how relieved I am, VL. Thank you for helping me to bring this nightmare to an end. I will iron out the remaining details with your Herr Amsel. He'll want to talk this over with you anyway, I'm sure. You're a good man, VL. You are saving more lives than you know. Welcome back, VL. How did the meeting with Frau Muller go? I accepted the job. Any ideas on how to tackle this? Yes, a few. Frau Muller has provided us with detailed information on the facility. I've vetted the information, and it seems to hold up. Based on this intel, I have formulated what I believe will be an effective strategy to bring down the building. According to Muller's intel, the facility is extraordinarily well guarded. Whatever this Bloodline project is, the Azis have spared no expense to defend it. The facility is patrolled by Az Technology's internal security personnel. On their own, they would pose a challenge, but I don't doubt that you could brute force your way through them. Unfortunately, they will not be on their own. Az Technology has purchased one of Knight-Errant's more expensive security contracts as an additional line of defense. So, kicking in the front door is out, then. I should say so. I've pulled some strings with an old contact of mine, and he's provided me with the address of a small software developer, OTK International. They write firmware updates for Knight-Errant's comm systems, and their defenses should be considerably weaker than Az Technology's. My contact has informed me that OTK stores an off-site hard copy of every firmware update it develops for data security purposes. My suggestion is this. You hit the offices of OTK International and reduce their computers to slag. In the interim, I will have the hard copy of their next update replaced with a compromised version. When OTK's next update goes live, our compromised version will be pushed out to Knight Errant. When you hit the As Technology facility, I'll be able to track Knight Errant via their comm links. This should make the run much more manageable. He fishes in his pocket for something. A moment later, he produces a corporate ID with your face on it. This will get you through the front door of the office park that contains OTK International. My contract was only able to provide me with the one card, so you'll need to let the rest of your team in through a side door. Alright, sounds like a plan. Very good. OTK's offices aren't far from here. You should take the U-Bahn there when you're ready. Yep. Yeah. But increasing quickness is probably a good Even from a distance, it is clear that something is not right with Lane. Coming closer, you can see dried blood on his face and clothes, as well as a few discolored blotches that pass for bruises on troll skin. More noticeably, there is considerable damage to the man's left prosthetic leg, which he now tends to with tools, as antiquated as the leg itself. You alright, Alexei? I'm fine. Nothing a few swings of a wrench can't fix. Or a few swings of a crutch. Someone comes at me, thinks me weak, and I show him otherwise. Leaning to one side, Lane's crutch is caked in more blood and what appears to be bits of hair. Are you sure you're alright? I've suffered far worse, as you might imagine. And I don't need you or anyone else babying me. Tell me who did this to you. Just a punk with some bad ideas. Forget about it. Well, I'll leave you be then. Hello again, mein Freund. What can I do for you? Nothing new there, probably. Okay, I should go get that spell. go. Acid Bolt 3. Couple of gold trauma kits. Since I can afford them. Yeah, I have one on me and one in the stash. I save up here? Why can't I save? There we go. Now it'll let me save. Okay, first stop, Frankfurter Tor.
I just hear Frankfurter Tor.
Yes, you did.
Hot Dog Hill. Okay.
As the U-Bahn hums toward the Frankfurter Tor, you tug idly at the fabric of your maintenance uniform. You found it in a duffel bag on your seat when you boarded, along with a note from Duer to put it on before your arrival. The moment you step off this train, the note said, your trial run begins. You are to rendezvous with the rest of your team, reconnoiter the building, and plant the specified devices in Alishire's suite. Beyond that, your approach will be left to you. Do not disappoint us. You are being watched.
Oh no, not this mission again.
Yep, but I have upped my charisma, so I have the security etiquette now, so I should be able to get through it.
So that's the wall.
Yeah, that was the wall. And so's this guy, confronted by a wall of muscle in a knight-errant uniform. Here with maintenance. You Yes, sir. Have you seen any other maintenance guys around? Yeah, they've been trickling in over the last 15 minutes or so. Yeah. I'll just get moving then. Have a good one. A young dwarf looks up at you, wide-eyed with apprehension. From the way that she's fidgeting, you can tell that she's terrified. Yep. Yeah, that's me. Am I late? No, you're right on time. Great, that's just great.
Love how this job starts to go wrong before it even begins.
Don't worry, it's going to be fine. Let's find the others and do what we came here to do. Yeah, okay. Good thinking. Right there with you. Let's head inside. Soy Cafe in Berlin, and I love better than enhanced productivity. Show me. And this asshole. Well, let's just get on with it. You sure that our friend here only speaks Sperethiel? And concentrate on the job. Okay, she talks about rewiring the thing. Yes. Alright, team, move out. Well-dressed orc stops spacing to stare at you as you approach. I don't want to be rude, but I'm a little busy right now. If this is about maintenance, take it someplace else. Like a janitor. Hey man, relax. Look, sorry, I'm not trying to be unpleasant. I have a huge presentation. That's rough. Yeah, I've got a little something here. Sounds like just what you need. Is that Jolt? I haven't had that since I graduated from business school. Oh man, that stuff is the best. Here you go, man. It's all yours. No, I can't just take it from you. I know how much that stuff can cost. But here's what I can do. I'm going to give you my room code. When you're making your rounds, doing your maintenance thing, you can stop in and grab my cred stick off the table. There's a couple hundred new, you know. Cred stick on the table. Got it. I'm trusting you with this. I'm not going to ransack this place. There's these two. just doing routine maintenance checks. Oh well, don't let us get in your way.
You have bigger fish to rob as well.
Say, what are you looking at there? This? Bigger fish to rob.
Why so stupid?
It's a pediatric skill buyer plus system for our son. I'd like to think that we are, and no, it isn't cheap, but unfortunately these sorts of enhancements have become nearly mandatory at top-tier schools like the Academy. Yeah. He's setting him up for failure. So the rich kids get the deck stacked in their favor, and the kids who got where they are on merit get shafted. Sounds about right. Yeah, like I said, it's the world we live in. Yeah, it is. You wouldn't want Hans to wind up at the bottom of the heap like me. I should get back to work. No, they're all named Johann.
Oh, wait, Dylan.
Let me see that suit. Style and safety. 5 armor, 2 charisma. Hell yeah. Oh, yeah. 10 charisma, which is higher than I should be able to get. Oh, wait, why do I only have 1 armor? No, it has 5 armor on it. Why? To how much armor I can have by some stat or another. I mean, it's only been one so far, but I just got new armor. It's the thing that has an armor stat of 5. Yes, the previous armor that I was wearing had a rating of 1. The new armor has a rating of 5. Right. I'm not sure I can do that. Yeah, I can't do that from here. Hold on, let me see if there's...
It's not letting you change in the middle of the roundabout. You see things on phone with.
Well, I just did change in the middle of the run when I bought it. Like, in the changing room of the place. Yeah, armor value not changing. Oh, okay. Apparently it sounds like it'll fix itself when I change areas. Unknown.
Just straight up stuck until he's out.
It sounds like it's just stuck until I zone. Yeah, could you open the door to the utility area? We have some work to do in there. The door is security coded, Delta grade. Your ID says that you're just a Theta, so no, I can't open the door. We have work to do in there. I heard him loud and clear, mob jockey. Now you listen to me. Nobody without Delta clearance gets through this door, period. I suggest that you talk to management. If you really do need to be in here, they'll upgrade your clearance. Otherwise, piss off. Cool down, we're on the same side here. This is a dispatch problem, I'm sure of it. I don't envy you guys having to work with them every day. Yeah, I hear ya. I swear, it's amazing that anyone gets anything done at all around here. Tell you what, you don't need to go all the way back to management. Just call in and get your clearance changed. I'll let you guys in as soon as the authorization comes through. Nah, I'd better go take care of this in person. But one thing before I go, instead of this week's protocols, they sent us out with last week's. Anything changed since then? Shakes his head. Unbelievable. You know, it makes my blood boil to think of how much money they make. It's people like you and me that actually keep this place running, and yet the idiots at Dispatch pull in triple what we do for sitting on their asses and fouling everything up. Right there with you, man. Now about those protocols. Yeah, let's see. They changed the emergency assistance code from November to Indigo. I think that's it. Everything else should still be the same from last week. Indigo. Yeah, thanks. I'd better head back to management to get that clearance issue sorted. Best of luck, pal. Do us all a favor and call out those idiots at Dispatch. Not that it'll do any good. On second thought, don't bother saying anything. They just wind up getting another raise. Don't I know it. Take care of yourself. Yeah, you too. Your security clearance doesn't authorize you to be in here. Your buddy across the way wanted me to give you a message. Status Indigo compromised. Does that mean anything to you? The guard jerks upright in alarm. He said, what? Step out of my way, please. The terminal is logged into the building's security system. It should be relatively simple to trick its threat assessment software into sending out a false positive. Enter the false data into the system to indicate threats coming from a far part of the complex away from your target. A few response codes flash onto the screen. Wordlessly, Jana pops an access panel. Or is it Yana? It might be Yana. That was quick. Are you ever not a dick? No, that's just for the menu. James, for the last time, keep your damn mouth shut. I'll say whatever all of you shut up, you're distracting me. Nice job, Yana. You're following instructions. Should that whatever you did disarm the security system? Our employers don't tell us much, do they? Lodge? You don't even know who you're working for, do you? Both of you, shut up. Somebody's coming. A tall, deeply tanned man rounds the corner at a jog. Smile falls from his face. You! The guy from the cyberware kiosk. What the hell is going on here? This is my apartment. I own it. You can't just waltz in here and start pulling the walls apart without my consent. We're maintenance. Look at the uniforms. Yeah, I see that, but that doesn't give you the right to force your way into my home and start tearing up my walls. At the very least, you should have given me advance notice. This is a waste of time, and I'm already running late. If you don't take care of this idiot, I will. The elf barks something out at James. Let's keep calm, everyone. This is a simple misunderstanding. Misunderstanding my ass. Your friend just called me an idiot in my own home. I want to know your employee number, and I want to know it now. Do you now? I'm a member of the... Calm down, sir. There must be a problem at dispatch. You should have received a work order last week. I didn't receive a thing from dispatch, or from anyone else for that matter. My wife and I are entertaining guests here in an hour and a half, and our living room is ruined. I need to know that you're going to fix this, and that you'll clean the place back up, and that you'll put a new coat of wax on the floors. I need... The hell with it, I don't have time for this. Say nothing. The glow intensifies. Yeah, panic button. No alarm sound. Nothing happens. The homeowner backpedals, trying to put a wall between himself and James. He's moving too slowly. Much too slowly. James, let him go, damn it. He tried to bring security down on us. He isn't leaving this room. An incomprehensible screech cuts off the mage's sentence. In your peripheral vision, you catch a flurry of motion. Your elvish companion is moving, making a beeline toward James. Yana is hanging off of him, trying to slow him down, but he barely seems to notice. Stop, damn it! We need him alive to complete the run! With a kick, he sends her tumbling to the ground, then turns back toward James. I kind of want to just attack James, but we've already done this much, so... I hate the bastard too, but Yana's right. We need him. Killers, innocence of, will not stand for. I not slave. All lodgemen bastards. I kill all. Yep, they always do. Wondered if I can just book it and leave them in the dust. Who doesn't get Overwatch? I mean, he could, but we're not moving into his threatened squares, so... Like, we are running away from him, and he doesn't have line of sight, so... Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not the maintenance override, it's the... It's... Whatever we did, reset it to that. Can't do this if I can't concentrate. Handle the guards, that's what you're here for. Oh wait, we can't just... dang it, okay. Yeah, that's... You can't do very much. Around some of them. Wait for whatever his name is to yeah. He might have. There he is. Nope. He attacked me. Our elf. Never tried to kill me. Insulting him ever since we arrived here. What did you think was going to happen? His face flushes red. If you'd been a better group leader, you wouldn't have let that happen. You'd have... For the love of God, shut up. Just stop talking. We're both sick to death of you. You need me to finish the run. Yes, so let's go do that now. To finish the mission, yeah, that's true. But if you don't shut that smug mouth of yours right now, you're gonna arrive at your meeting without a tongue. Without another word, the mage turns and stalks off in the direction of the penthouse. first camera, it adheres to the ceiling with an audible click. James steps forward, his fingers bent. He whispers a long string of hushed syllables that seem to vibrate in your mind. For a moment, nothing seems to happen. Then you blink, and the camera is gone. Done. Get moving on to the next one. The second camera clicks onto a heating vent. The lens irises to adjust to the light. James repeats his previous performance, and the camera fades from view. You place the last camera, James steps forward, then turns to stare you in the eye. When we get through with this run, I'm gonna tell my handler all about you. You won't work for the lodge again. Not because you're an incompetent leader, but because I have pull, and I don't like you very much. What do you have to say about that? I have to say that the odds of you surviving this job are looking worse and worse. Now mask the damned camera.
I feel like the second option is the truth.
Yeah, that infuriating smirk returns to his face. That's about what I thought. I'll be sure to mention it when I speak with my lodge contact. He whispers to the third camera, and soon enough it fades from view. Suddenly, an alarm blares to life. James jerks back in surprise. Damn it! I knew this would happen if I didn't kill that spray-tanned jackass. I knew it! His hands hook into claws, and the air seems to shimmer around him. Looks like we're fighting our way out of here. Yet another unnecessary delay. Some kind of... Oh, okay.
It was the regular camera.
Down the fire escape. James, you're our point man. Congratulations.
Like you said, chance of survival falling.
Mm-hmm. He was carrying the heavy thing. Mission accomplished, I think finally. Call your handler and tell him that the job is done. Be quick about it. I need to be on the next train out of here. For once, he and I are in agreement. I can't put this place behind me quickly enough. All I want to do is go home, hug my cat, and forget that tonight ever happened. Enter the comm code that Luca gave you. Punch Liquidware's comm code into your PDA. A few seconds later, you hear a telltale click of a successful connection. Dware's voice pours out of your PDA speakers. Yell! The job is done, I trust? Yes, everything has been completed to your specifications. Very good. Now, if you please, give me a status update on the members of your team. The elf from Tier Tanjire turned on us. We had to put him down, but Jana and James are both alive and well. He clucks his tongue softly. Interesting. That the elf is dead was expected. He was a dangerous and unreasonable person. Disgruntled, you might say, after years of service in our employ. His betrayal of you was inevitable. Thankfully, with his death, you have gained valuable insight into your character. James's continued survival, on the other hand, was not expected. You are a very patient man, VA. This has been most informative. James's posture stiffens, but he says nothing. You can see a dawning awareness behind his eyes, though. Slowly, the color begins to drain from his face. Now, let us see how adequately you completed the task that I set before you. Enter the following code into your PDA, if you please. 5256719. You type in the code as instructed and your PDA screen cuts to static. A moment later, a familiar image materializes on the screen. The penthouse room that you bugged. It appears to be a live feed from the cameras that you planted. You're sure that this room is secure? You've done a full sweep? Absolutely, sir. We've run multiple sweeps with a complete sensor package, and we brought in a mage to search for signs of astral tampering. It all checks out clean. You're completely safe in here. He lets out a heavy sigh. Thank God. Call downstairs and let my wife and kid know that it's safe to come up. Will do, sir. Is there anything else that I can do for you tonight? No, thank you. That'll be all. You have a good... Suddenly, the air in the room seems to ignite. There's a blinding flash and your PDA screen cuts to static. And that takes care of that. Please return to the Kreutz Bazaar. The remainder of your post-run interview will conclude upon your arrival. Hang on, what the hell was that? He raises an eyebrow. What did it feel like? An explosion, of course. This run wasn't a surveillance operation, it was an assassination. It was both, and both tasks were carried out to the letter. You should be pleased, VL. The run was a resounding success. When you described this run to me, you left out the part where we planted a bomb. That's a hell of an omission. Yana covers her mouth with her hand, a horrified expression on her face. Oh God, I killed someone. That man is dead because of me. You killed 2 other people earlier in the run.
That was until defense.
Not really.
Oh, well.
From the sound of that explosion, I'd guess that you killed a fair number of someone's. Alisher said Alisher and his bodyguard, at the very least, and probably a good half-dozen more. A morbid grin creases the mage's thin-lipped mouth. That makes you a mass murderer, Mouse. You're moving up in the world. A sob racks her chest. She begins to hyperventilate. I can never get away from this. This is gonna follow me for the rest of my life. I killed people. I'm a murderer. Say it louder, why don't you? I don't think they heard you in France. I haven't heard a response from you, VL. Shall I make the preparations for your post-run interview? Are you ready to continue your test? I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about this, Dwyer. I'll see you soon. Very good. I'll be waiting. Your return trip to the Kreutz Bazaar is a quiet one. The train from the Frankfurter tour is empty, save for you. There's nothing to distract you from your thoughts. You're finished with the first part of your audition. Luca Dwyer is waiting at Café Chesva to administer the second.
I feel so
Mm-hmm.
She interrupted that.
Fairlight Excalibur Cyberdeck replacing his old Virtua X. Or... Eh. Nah. Better deck.
Excalibur, we found this in late.
Okay, that's cool. I like that. AoE increases. Or cheaper to cast, yes. Yo, welcome back, and my congratulations on a job well done. You son of a bitch, you never said anything about a bomb. Plans changed. They sometimes do. Nature of the business. He reaches into his pocket and produces a slim plastic rod, a cred stick. Is that going to be a problem for you? Yes, it's a problem. You can't pay me enough to violate my own principles, Dweller. And you don't belong in the shadows. This is not a business for bleeding hearts or free thinkers. The people at the top of the ladder are the decision makers. People like you and me are nothing more than convenient sets of hands. The true purpose of the run that you just went on was to test your willingness to adapt to change. You're still being tested, by the way. If you work for my organization, you may be asked to do things that you find morally troubling. Sometimes it might even appear that we are lying to you, but you can take comfort in knowing that everything that we request of you is ultimately for the greater good. And what is the greater good? Define it for me. You can't see the big picture. I can't either. I am, again, just a mouthpiece. The only ones who know my organization's ultimate ends are its ruling council, and they aren't in the practice of sharing information with their hirelings. But know that they are some of the most intelligent men on this planet, and they place a high priority on social order and stability, and those are good things by anyone's standards. So, what do you think of all that? I think you'd better get the hell out of my Keats. I don't want to see you again, do you hear me? He frowns and slides the cred stick back into his breast pocket. A pity. I honestly believed that you had potential. You have failed your audition. There's nothing more for us to discuss. Good day. You're still standing there. Lovely day, isn't it? You're not going to let me throw him out? Hey, Alto, poison his coffee. The Turk flashes his wry smile and winks at you knowingly. I am told you have been quite busy of late, O Wanderer of the Shadows. My straight rats tell me that business is picking up. Is that the man who has taken over for Monica, Buragazi? Who does it look like, your rotundity, the Pope from the Vatican? Give him a soy calf, a big one, and put it on my account. I like the cut of his jib. A large soy calf? Ah, you are the generous one, Goldschmidt. Are you sure you can afford such a gesture? The fat man frowns. And a scone. I was going to say and a scone as well. Nothing is too good for him. As you desire, O ample one. The Turk whispers. The man is a moron, but he eats his weight in baklava and pastry, so who am I to care? Now, what is it you would like? I recently produced a bottle of 50-year-old Islay Scotch. Would you perhaps be interested in acquiring it from me? Islay, you say? Might I examine the merchandise? He takes the bottle, and his smile fades for a moment as he becomes all business, examining it with a critical eye. Then, as quickly as it faded, the huge smile is back. Quite a treasure you have found. I'm sorely tempted to ask from where, in hopes of procuring more, you see. But no, it would not be polite. I would perhaps value that bottle at 400? 500, since I've got the only supply in town. Thank you, my friend. I have a buyer already in mind for this little gem. Or perhaps I shall keep it myself. It is good to always have something special on hand for a celebration. I'll be going now. Cammy puts away her comm and grins at you, a puckish gleam in her eye. Hey pal, I missed you. Got any new stories for me? Actually, I'm curious about Alto. Cammy purses her lips. Not a lot I can tell you that you haven't already guessed. Residence by Master, Coffee Brewmaster, Outsider. The official Turk of the Kreutz Bazaar. Well, that's not news to me. Yeah, I doubted it. You're too smart for me. Well, you want to know why, right? He works for him. He had to make some sort of living here in the Kreutz Bazaar, you know? He's not got a trade skill. He's not goblinized, so he couldn't hang with Beckenbauer. If he opened a normal shop, he'd be ousted by someone thinking he's stealing their job because he's not German. The coffee shop was a good option because it's obvious. He stays exotic and does what they expect of him with the intel and stuff. She pulls absent-mindedly at some hair in her face. Sorry about the intel dump. It's not really useful information. And you'd probably guessed anyway at this point. But you asked, so... You've been a real doll. Gotten way too much information out of me, though. I'll see you around, yeah? As you approach the counter, you find Absinthe counting a bundle of antique paper money in the till. She doesn't bother looking up. Biel, when you speak with the men who are not men, the fleshy puppets imprisoned behind glass, you must remember that they dream. They may not be real people by your definition of the term, but they do have dreams. That alone makes them worth saving. Another prophecy. The last prediction that you made came true. How did you do that? You are confused. I didn't do anything. I merely related what I saw. She blinks, then looks away. What I shared with you, it was an observation. Nothing more. Be well, Orc. Now I have 5 armor. And it's about 5 o'clock, so time to be wrapping this up. This is a good spot to call it for the day, I think. So, thanks for watching. I will be back later this week. Exactly when, we shall see. I'm thinking about, well, you know, depending on my how my sleep schedule does and how this new job goes, or, you know, how my schedule with it goes, I'm thinking of cutting back to 3 days a week for holding court. Not that I've been doing even that much the past couple of weeks, but, you know. Yeah, so depending on what tomorrow looks like, you might see me, you might not see me until Wednesday. But I will be back with more of this at some point. So thanks again, and I hope to see you all next time. Later, y'all.